Welcome everyone again to episode 2 of Mask On, Mask Off. I'm your host KABLE, sitting right here, along with the show's creator, Mr. Nate. Say hello, Nate. Say hello.
We gotta get you. I'm gonna order some masks because it kind of is crazy that the show's called Mask On, Mask Off, and you don't have a mask on. But I'm gonna order some masks.
Oh, you want a mask? Because I have a mask.
Oh, I'm scared. I'm nervous now.
You want me to get a mask? I have a mask now. Don't you worry. I
Get
got
your
3
mask.
of them. Oh, wait a minute. Just hold on. Everyone, let Nate entertain you for a sec.
Not for a second. So, welcome to Mask On Podcast. Here we talk about fetishes, some interesting hot topics, sex, and it all is from the perspective of Black men, how it affects us, what affects us, so on and so forth. And Mr. KABLE here will be hosting those conversations and leading those conversations. Tonight we'll have an interesting guest. I'll wait till he pops up before we announce him. But we are, if you want to be a guest on a show and you have fans or you are a porn star or a sex worker or you just like sex or you like talking about sex, that's the doorway to the conversation. But we will be having some interesting conversations as it pertains to Black men and those things. So he got his mask on, y'all.
Yes, I do.
And I think our guest is trying to log on. So we'll have him on also.
Yes. Where he at?
Well, don't come on here doing no. He working on coming.
Oh, it's coming. But what you think? Just the mask.
I mean, that's interesting. What do you do in that mask?
I mean,
Or I should ask, what have you done in
what
that
have I
mask?
done in this mess? I mean, I walked like a dog.
Or
I
what
barked like
haven't you
a dog.
done?
Huh?
I
What
said, what
happened?
haven't you done?
Um, Water sports in this mask. Won't be doing that. No, don't put no urine on my mask. So that's what I haven't done in this mask.
So last
But
week we talked a little bit about like certain fetishes that we may have, or um, what are your lines in the sand? What are your don't ask me to do that anymore or ever?
scat,
What? Say
scat,
that again.
scatting. We don't
What
we
is
don't
that?
we don't play the doo-doo game. I don't no judgment, to each their own, but I I do not do the poop on my dick thing. No, I'm not shitting on your dick. I'm not going to continue if
Oh
that
no!
seems
Wow!
that.
Wow!
Yeah, that's what that is.
So I've encountered individuals who are I don't know if it would be necessarily I don't know if that's what it's called, but they are not opposed to it. Some
It's called
actually
scatting.
ask for it.
It's called scatting.
It's called scatting.
Yes.
So that's just the term for it. So there
Yes,
are
it's called scatting.
men who are okay with it.
There are definitely
There are plenty men. There are people.
absolutely. If you remember Two Girls in a Cup, the video that came out years ago with the 2 Asian girls with the ice cream and they was licking poop all, I mean, they was just eating the shit. I don't
When I
understand it.
say that is one of the most disgusting. Uh, I,
I mean, she had
no.
that.
So I guess
She
that's
had
my
that big
line in the
long.
sand as well. Because that just made me.
Yeah,
I
no,
remember
that's it.
watching that on the internet.
Now, the one thing I do want to try, but I need to try with someone experienced, is fisting. I will try that once.
You want to put your fist in someone, or you want your
No, I want
fist
someone to
in
put their
someone?
fist in me. I wouldn't mind fisting someone, but I want to be fisted.
Hello?
Hello, hello, welcome,
Hello.
Blue, welcome.
Oh shit! What the fuck is going on? I came in.
And you came out.
And you,
Well,
and you came
but
out.
but I definitely would try fisting. But scat is where I draw the line. It's just not my thing.
So,
You
so
know,
again, you
again,
said you would want someone fisting you.
absolutely. I already had someone pee on me one time. That was cool. I would do that
Mhm.
again. I don't mind water sports. Um, I'm a person that's down to try anything new as long as it's not scatting. I'm just not doing that.
Have you
But I'm
done it
very
before?
adventurous.
Is that where, or that's just a hard stop for you?
Yeah, that's just a no. It's no changing my mind. It's just not happening. I know I'm a dog wearing this dog mask, but no.
Mm, interesting.
Maybe I should bend my ears though, because with the straight up, they think I'm a dom, and with like this, you like
It's too
puppies and
many. You know what? You know why this is difficult for me because it's too many rules. It's too many rules. It's too many signals. It's too many. It's just too much. I think it's way
that's
too
what makes
much.
the
And
Nate,
who can remember all that? Who can remember all that?
that's what makes the leather community so exciting because it's so much that entails, so much you could take in, so much you can learn from it. And it's not really hard. It seems difficult to one
Hmm.
who hasn't experienced it. But once you get in there and you start to adapt and you start to see and you start to get knowledge, you be like, oh, this is pretty cool. And also, what makes it even great is when you go out to these places and you see these things, you know what's happening. You're not oblivious. You're not walking in the dark like, oh, what's this? So it's a feel good thing to it as well. But I think anyone should try it. I think it's great. It's another part of our world. It's another part of enjoying sexuality and the passion of it, and not just the putting the dick in the ass and putting the dick in the mouth. It's so much more to it that you can make the bedroom so much more exciting if you just open your minds to it.
Okay, so just open your mind. Whoo, open your mind up, huh?
Open your
It's
mind,
just,
your
I mean,
legs,
I'm
your mouth.
all for trying or exploring or being adventurous. I can't take the rules. I can't take, the positions you have to maintain. I can't. I just can't take the rules. It's the rules for me. I can't. It's too much.
Mm, can't never say I can't until you try.
But
I
I'm
think you,
saying for
I think
me,
you
I
would do
can't do the
well at it.
rules. It's too many. If you, it's just like those types of people who only want it this way. Like it's like one or two ways, and this is all they do. That's no enjoyment for the other person because
Hmm.
often it puts you into a position that is awkward for you and uncomfortable because this person only can maneuver or handle this. So that's all they want to do because they've never exercised or explored or learned how to do other things. It's a little too
Well,
boxed
that's
in
when
for
you
me.
go out and you find someone who does. A lot of people are closed. A lot of people are stuck in their ways. They're very closed minded, not up to change, not pressed for it, not even looking for it. They like what they like, and there's nothing wrong with that. But if you want to be more exploratory, then you need to find someone who is willing to help you be open to these things. But it's a lot of people that are
Mm-hmm.
looking adventurous and out there. I never would have thought I'd be wearing a mask like this 10 years ago, but here I am and I enjoy it. Actually, I'd be like, I missed out on so much in my life being approved. And now I'm glad that I am at an age where I'm more open to these things, to these sexual adventures and leather and mask, and I'm just into it, and I'm happy. Honestly, I'm glad I did it. It makes me feel great. It makes me feel sexy, wanted, and it's nothing. I wouldn't change it. Like this mask right now, I
Okay.
feel real hot. You know what I'm saying? It just brings a different
You
energy
feeling
on
real
you.
hot
You know, I mean, well,
when you put on a mask.
yes, absolutely, sexy. It's like role play.
Would you
I
wear that
love.
outside?
I will. I wore it to. I have wore it to places. I have wore it walking on the street to go to the drinkery here in Baltimore. I wore it to the Eagle.
Not at the
Actually,
drinkery.
yeah, I wore it in the drinkery. Actually, me and a friend of mine, because I have two, and I want a couple of more actually, because
Mm.
I want a blue one and I want an all black one. But I let a friend of mine
Not
told mine,
accessorizing.
huh?
I said not accessorizing.
Of course, you know what I'm saying, and they not that high, about $100, 125, depending on where you go, and some places $80. You know, like the Eagle downtown, they have an all black one that I want. I think it's $80. The last I checked, so you know, I may
Mm-hmm.
purchase that next week. But I love it.
Okay, come on, payday. I so
I think you would
I'm
be
a
good with it.
actor. I'm an actor. Like the whole role play thing. Maybe lead the day leading up to it, or that day. Like maybe texting, I can get into some mental foreplay or like the role playing. And I don't think I've ever like, especially I don't think I've ever tried like dressing up. People have often asked me, and that's only after they found out I was an actor. Like, put a costume on, or mm-mm. Maybe
Do it.
just type of brother myself.
Do it.
Just give
It
me
brings more
the old
excitement.
school.
You know how some people say the bedroom's a little
I mean,
boring.
I wear
So,
costumes on. I've been like 90 nude on a stage before. It don't do anything for me. Like it don't. I know people that it excites, but for me, like it don't. Cause you gotta take the stuff off at some point, right?
I mean, just like you gotta take off your clothes and
And you
drawers when
can't.
you take a shower.
Okay, well
But
maybe
sometimes we
one
gotta
day.
do things not for us, because if you with someone that excites them, you gotta realize when you're in these intimate moments, it's just not about you. You know, it's about both of you getting off, and maybe if you do it to help them, you know, to excite them, you may actually find yourself enjoying it a lot more, because these people that typically
Well, it's
find
not a
these
lot
things
of people
that,
out here that it's gonna do the give and take. So that's my issue with it. If I'm going to do something for someone in that way, I have to receive that. And it's not a lot. It's a lot of people who are lazy at sex. It's a lot of people who are horrible at sex. It's a lot of people who are real selfish in their sex. So it's no, it has to be give and take for me. I'm not a submissive person in that way.
so Blue is texting now saying he tried to get on and asking what happened.
I'll text them.
Okay.
I'll text them. But we have some interesting conversations today. Is there any hot topics or any interesting things that you've seen over the last week? Any new
Oh my
connections
God.
on Twitter? Well, wait a minute. Twitter logo.
Say that one more time.
the new Twitter logo. Twitter has
Oh,
changed its logo.
the X. Talk about lame. Like, why are we changing something that ain't broken? Like, if it ain't broke, what you fixing it for? It don't need to be fixed. And I think it's stupid. Why are you an X? Like, sir, I like the bluebird. I like that. It makes it look fun. The X's make it seem like it's all about free Twitter when that's what it's not all about. I don't know the purpose of the X, but me personally, I think it's stupid. And like someone said, the wrong millionaire was on the submarine, saying it should have been him on that submarine that went to see the Titanic and imploded. Yeah, I was like, my sentiments exactly because it's stupid. I can't stand people trying to come in and change something.
Twitter has turned into a porn site, so I mean,
But
it
do
would
we
be
need an
only
X to
befitting
prove it?
that. I
Do we really
mean,
need an X?
maybe it will help people who keep. There's a lot of people that complain about the fact that Twitter has turned so sexual, and now you don't even have to. At one point, you had to click on stuff in order for it to follow you or friend someone, but now you just turn on to Twitter. Instagram is weirdly the same way. Because like when I go to my search bar, like to type in like to give my phone to somebody to put their info to pop up their page, like it's nothing but like porn in the search
Oh,
bar, and I'm not searching for those things.
Snapchat,
So they're
Instagram,
giving
Twitter. Those three things are
everybody's giving
high sex.
carte blanche to people to be sexual now.
Yeah. It's creeping its way onto Facebook. I mean, it's already there with the groups and stuff, but Facebook is pretty good with finding those groups and shutting them down because I had a couple of people add me in them and then they're gone and when I'm constantly being added to these groups, they're disappearing. But now they have them on Messenger where you just have a whole group thing on
Mm.
Messenger and they just do it there, which is good because again, I don't believe in doing things in places where kids can find it so easily. And to me, that's the problem with social media.
There's
Sometimes that
kids
it's
in
too
there.
accessible to our children. So that's my only issue with social media. Um, but other than that, that's the world we live in today. Sex for some reason is on the rise. Everybody's willing to try new things. Some people who always wanted to try something are now doing it and don't mind exposing themselves doing it. And including men now, men showing themselves getting their ass ate and doing all types of wild stuff that used to be demonized. We used to say, oh, they must be gay. These are straight people
Is
I'm
it too
talking about.
much?
Huh?
Is it too much? Does it
No.
feel?
Does it feel?
It feels too much.
You mean as far as
Like
them
when we
showcase?
was talking this showing like when we were younger, like we had to sneak into our parents' room, find their VHS and figure out how to
But
rewind it back or now it's
But
just
times flow, times change. We starting to sound like our parents did when we were coming
it's
up,
too
when they
much.
would talk about 90s music and the sound and how, oh, our music, oh my God, blah, blah, blah. Baby, the times are changing,
But it
just
was
like
too much
dial up. But now,
then.
huh?
I think it was too much then. I think we've advanced so much that there's nothing left to the imagination. It's one thing to be a sex worker, but now, you know, they use these sites to promote themselves, but the site itself is becoming more provocative than the actual what they want to sell you the full. Like you don't even need the full package anymore because what they're putting out is porn. Like it's just, and I'm not a prude. Don't get me wrong. It's just sometimes it can be too much. Like, can we keep something to the imagination?
Oh, I agree.
It's just too
I
much.
agree. That's just like on the sites, you know, when people are so quick to have their ass up as their profile picture. Baby, I want your profile picture to be of you. You know, let me leave some room for imagination. I don't want this to be the first thing I see when I click on your profile is your ass or your dick. That means everyone else is seeing it. So at least no mystery. And I think the mystery of meeting people is definitely gone away because that brought excitement. That brought so many feelings, you know, even the catfish feeling, like, is this gonna be the real person? But it takes away from the experience that of meeting someone, and then you know, but communication is also dead too because people don't know how to talk to people. You know, like again, you could just meet someone, talk to someone on Facebook. If you're not interested, you could just swipe on to this next person, and you know, try to hit on them. So communication skills has totally died down because of these things. But times are changing, and you have to either get. I'm not saying these changes are great because I think a lot of them are terrible, but this is just the time that we live in, and either you're going to get with it, or you're going to be lost in it. Just like on Twitter right now, it's like
I understand
AI thing. Do you see the ads on Twitter about AI? They're saying if you're not with AI, then you're going to be lost, and I guess I'm lost because I haven't got with it yet. But times are changing.
It's not. They
and
say that with every advancement, and they're like the whole is you don't have an iPhone, you are so behind, and you're not.
I
You're not.
mean,
Twitter. I mean, iPhone has tricked you. Technology has tricked you into believing having an iPhone is the end all be all. But aren't our
you must be an
phones always
Android
dead?
user. Are you an Android user?
It's not iPhone. I've had an iPhone before,
Oh,
but iPhone Apple is not paying me to promote them. So me having a phone is what my phone do just as much as your phone do. I don't need to see
this
when
is
someone
true.
read my message. I just don't. All those things. I think it keeps you buying the latest and spending all your money on the latest, and you don't need it.
Oh,
You
absolutely. It's for
don't.
marketing. There's nothing wrong with Android. I actually think you'd be
Nothing.
more
It's
trapped
the
in
same.
Apple.
I've heard. I subscribe to a lot of tech magazines and, and blogs, and it's the same technology. They're just reselling it to you in an exclusive way to make you think you have something that's so exclusive. So they'll put this game or this software or this app only on this service. But I have my phone. I haven't had any issues. I've run my business through my phone. Shit, I'm sometimes these shows are gonna be run through my phone.
It
Same
is
technology.
the joys of technology. But let's talk about
The
something
joys of
else that's
technology.
just hilarious.
Just
And
not
her
hilarious.
issues
Maybe.
with the trans community, well, the gay community, the LGBTQIAZYX community. I'm sorry, we had too many letters. Okay, I don't even know what the hell
Now
all
I'm
these
a
letters mean.
um. Let me do a little background, just a little bit to to clarify some stuff. Just hilarious. I don't believe homophobic. Her best friend. She has a lesbian best friend, a gay male best friend. Now that doesn't mean that you're not homophobic, but I don't believe necessarily that she's homophobic. I believe she's an ignorant Baltimore chick. That's what I believe. Who likes sensationalizing the things that she say out her mouth, and not every funny. She's not funny to me, especially when you are responding to something that you didn't research. You saw a clip and now you're responding. So you are referring to the argument that she's having right now with, and I don't think she's really having an argument with T.S. Madison. I think T.S. Madison responded only because somebody else, Tasha K, got involved.
Yes, Tasha K is who T.S. Madison responded to. Absolutely.
Right, right. So are you in agreement with her, or do you understand? Like, whose side are you on in this argument?
Well, like many others out there, only clip I saw was the two clips that they showed. So that's the only thing that I could base my, answer off of. And when I heard the trip, I don't know the transgender's name. I don't know her name or who she is, but
Mm-hmm.
when I heard what she said in the little clip that they showed, I was like, I didn't agree with what she said. So apparently, I just found out today there's a whole bigger clip that I didn't know nothing about, and that's what the
The
internet
rest of
does
the
to
clip.
get, huh?
Well,
It's supposed to be like
it
a
wasn't a
longer
clip. It was, she
video.
was actually on a live, and someone took a clip from her live. So
Got you.
it wasn't just a clip that she made. It was a actual live that was on there. And she was responding to Just Hilarious comment about periods. Well, no, it wasn't even Just Hilarious. She was making a comment about people doorkeeping periods because
Yeah, yeah,
this
the gatekeeping.
individual is young, gatekeeping periods. In the comment, now we have to put stuff in context. So if you're talking to someone under the age of 30, they're gonna have on things that are different from people say over the age of 35 or 40. It's just gonna be different. We knew in our age range not to put ourselves in certain things, like your period or your female body. We just knew not to do those things. Some of these people don't necessarily have that level of proof, so it's going to come across different. And we have to figure out how to um, lighten our individuals and give them the necessary information so they're not so ignorant. But her comments were based off of people's sexual identity or gender identity, rather. So she was
Hmm.
saying that it's not exclusively cisgendered women who have periods. There are trans men who still have a period. There are intersexual uh, born individuals have a period. And that was her, I believe, I want to say that that was the point of, of her comment. And Jess Hilarious saw a snippet of that and responded to a snippet
Okay.
defensively.
Yes. And to
So,
be transparent, where I didn't like
mm-hmm,
the tone or some of the words that she used, I didn't see nothing wrong with her statement. She was defending women in her way, and tone has a lot to do with it, and the way that she delivered it. A lot of people have a problem with. Yes, of course, she said a lot, like calling us of y'all or them or whatever she was referring to us. We made you all, and I didn't like that part because it made me feel like we're aliens, and we're not aliens. We're human just like you,
but, but,
and
but
so.
even though her comments came from a truthful, honest place, her adding those things proves her level of ignorance. And it proves to me what she really feels. Like, you really feel that way. You wouldn't have said those things if you feel that way because she has a lot of gay friends. So for you to say that and point it directly at trans individuals, that's a problem. Believe it.
I just say that I think both parties were wrong in this situation, especially listen, trans change your
Mm-hmm.
gender. If you feel uncomfortable with the sex that you were born, you want to change it, that is your every right. But to try to demolish what the what a woman is and what they bring to the table, to me, to try to make yourself feel good or to feel a part, to me, is where the lines get distorted. And I think with a lot of
Mm-hmm.
females, when I hear them say is they feel like the transgender is trying to like erase who they are as women. And one of the main things she said is like, she kept saying, we have a period. I'm sorry, a man who transforms to a woman, you don't have periods. But a woman that transforms to a man, and I don't like to say
But
transform,
did she
I'm sorry.
say that?
Yes, she said
Did
yes.
she say she has? Are you
Huh?
sure?
Who? You talking about the
Just a
other
reference
girl?
that someone made.
You talking
Yes.
about the other girl? The transgender?
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
she was saying that they are gatekeeping periods. And I don't think they're gatekeeping
Well,
periods. I think
that
we usually.
referring to, but she was referring to trans men who still have periods and intersexual born individuals. And intersexual is what they used to call hermaphrodites, people who were born with genitalia or the makeup of both genitalia, and
But she
trans
said
men.
women. She didn't say
And
trans.
non-binary individuals can still have a period.
But she said women are trying to gatekeep periods and this like that. And I think we use these terms in the wrong way. They're not gatekeeping anything that is actually theirs. Like men don't have periods. Just
Well,
I'm sorry.
but if you under the other individuals that she was speaking of, she's saying the same thing. So she never, there was no conversation about men can have periods.
Uh-huh.
That did not happen at all. It was
But I
her
think
saying these individuals over here that identify as or were born as like intersexual individuals, non-binary individuals, and trans men still periods. Now they may not identify as women or cisgendered, but they may have been born biologically or have had both parts. But it was never stated. Just hilarious jumping out there was for nothing. It was for nothing.
now see how I look at it is
Nothing.
I don't think Jess
Nothing.
Hilarious was
Because those
even
people were
attacked.
still biologically born women.
I don't think she was attacking trans men. I think the issue with females are only towards men that change to be women. I don't think they have an issue with the women that change to be men. They're still gonna have a period. That's why some of them don't like it. They hate it. I talk to trans men. They hate it. They hate it because they feel like that's still a sign of them being a
But
woman. And
those were
they
the people that this transgender was referring to. Whether they hate it or
so
not, they still have them.
did
That's
you
who she
hear
was
about
referring to.
see, I don't know who she was
Go ahead.
referring to because the clip that was shown, and that's what I'm gonna keep going on for my sake, because I don't want to
And
attacking men.
that's the problem.
The clip, but
I
the clip
really have
I
I have
was
a
shown,
problem with outlets and just regular individuals sharing half pieces of information and then developing opinions and arguments based off of parts of a truth. And if you watch the first live, which people don't do because they don't like support, so I'm not going to go watch the live to really be educated or understand what the argument. That was T.S. Madison's point of view. T.S. Madison said she initially saw the clip and she the clip. She said, but when she went back and watched the entire thing or more of it, she realized that this individual was referring to people who were born biologically woman.
but
That's so
I
this
don't
whole
think the
argument is
straight
crazy
women
that people
are,
have.
but I don't think the straight women are. That's what I'm saying. I don't think the straight women are gatekeeping them. I think they have an issue with the men changing to be women. And I don't think she was talking about them. I think she was
But that's a
talking to
personal
every.
problem, though.
But I know, but I'm just saying, I think but also at the same time, those are the ones that's most vocal. You don't hear much from the trans men. You don't hear much from them. It's always the transgender that want these changes or these things to happen. And I'm not saying all of them, like using the bathroom, I agree to a certain extent because you got some people like Jenner who changed over to be or look like a woman, but he still like women. So it's like, I don't know, just like the transgender who went to jail but got the women
But it's
pregnant.
I think
So you have these
but let's
things. I think it's easy for the
but
gay
yeah,
community to
but
look
we're
at. Wait a minute.
conflating
Let me finish. Let
we're
me finish.
confusing sexual identity and sexual identity and gender are two different things. Gender
But
identity
if they
and
don't,
sexual
but if the
identity are
person is
two
not
different
disclosing
things.
which one they are, it's hard to tell. You don't know unless they
But
disclose
is
and let you
but
know.
unless they're sleeping with you, that should be the only reason they have to disclose who they are. Like I don't that and for me, I am just not on board, but just beginning to understand a lot of this because I didn't grow up with all these terms. You was gay, straight, maybe
Lesbian.
bisexual, maybe a
That's it.
stud, maybe a blister. That's all I
That's.
knew.
Did you just say a blister?
I mean,
I
but
haven't heard that.
I'm giving you context as to the environment that I grew up in. Those were the only terms we knew.
I haven't heard that
This,
term in such a
even though
long time. That is
cisgender
funny.
is new to us in terms of lay people. Is a new term, but all these other identities and layers and sexual orientations, it's all new to us. So I'm just getting on board with it. But I begin to layer information inaccurately, that's when it's a problem. Like,
Hmm.
and that's just all people concerned. I think gay people are mixing it up because now to be transgender, do you have to tell me that you are who you are when you face the world? Do you have to identify when you walk out the house? Do you have to yell to the world on a bullhorn who and who you're sleeping with? So I don't think transgender people should have to do that.
No, but
That's just
I think
my
what
opinion.
I'm saying is the look. So if you have someone coming like I said, you have someone like Chris, what's his name, Bruce Jenner, who's now Caitlyn,
Hmm.
and
It's Chris
you
Jenner
have
now.
how
I
he
mean,
is now.
not
Now he
Bruce.
let the world
Is his
know.
name Bruce Hill?
No, it's Caitlyn.
Why?
That's what he
Why
changed it
let
to.
them
But
know?
he still likes women, and I don't get it. And
But that's okay.
but
Is that a
wait. Let
problem
me
that he
make my
still likes
point though.
women?
Wait, let me make my point. That's what he says. He said he still like women. He
Hmm.
just wanted to look. That's what he said. I listen. I don't know what that man do, but we gonna go on what he said. So if he never said that at all, and you had
If
Caitlyn
he never said
walk in the
what that he liked
bathroom,
women,
that's what he says. He still like women. She said, I'm sorry, that's so disrespectful, and I mean no disrespect. That's what she said. That she still like women, apparently. I don't know what
okay.
she liked, but that's what she
But
said.
that is that
And
impossible?
I want to
Caitlyn is still like women.
that's what I heard that she does. Um Again, I just want to apologize. I mean, no disrespect by saying that because we said Bruce and Caitlyn, so my words got mixed. So I totally respect the trans community. So I just want to put that out there and make it clear because I have a lot of friends and I don't want nobody to get offended. But that was an accident. But if you had someone go into a bathroom and you think it's a woman and this woman still likes women, it's a problem for me. And if you can't tell, you would never tell unless the person says something. So I think that's where the lines get drawn. And
So
like I was saying, because you have these
should
situations.
lesbians not be allowed to go into the women's restroom either?
They should. They don't have penises. And I'm not saying be shady, but that's a fact.
So it's
They
the
don't have
fact
penises.
that this person still has a penis that's a
It's an
problem, but you
issue.
don't know that they have a
Like
penis.
for instance, wait. For instance, the transgender that they put in the girls' prison, he got a couple of
Hmm.
girls pregnant. She did. She got a couple of girls pregnant. When you start doing things like that,
But I
it
think
starts.
so. I'm
It's
confused as to. Go ahead.
so the girl got locked up, and mysteriously, a couple of females in that jail got pregnant. Kind of find out they got pregnant by the transgender, and who was supposed to be, just straight female. But she went and got these girls pregnant. So when things like that
But
happen, it
the
starts
officers
putting
knew that she was transgender.
who
The officers transgender.
the officer.
Yeah, they knew she was transgender when she went in.
No, they said it
You a
was
strip search
no. This
before
is
you go
someone
into
that
any
got
prison.
locked. This is someone that was locked up. It was a
Oh,
black
but
girl who
no,
was locked up.
you are strip searched. You are stripped searched before you go into a prison. So they
Sure, but
knew.
she identified. They respected what she was, and
Okay,
that's what happened.
yeah, but it seemed like they didn't know, and somehow this person's
No, they
into the
knew she was
jail.
transgender. No. They knew she was transgender, but they didn't expect with her to still be sleeping with women. That was the problem.
Yeah,
They
but
didn't expect her.
but see, and that's why they need to have a separate space for them. And they keep trying to either put them in women populations or men populations. And
But then you
this is
have
why they
some
would need their
transgender
own
that
space.
feel like that. But then you have some transgender that feel like that is wrong because you're now taking away the fact that they are a woman.
No, not necessarily. I don't agree with that. Maybe somebody else does. Maybe there's transgender people that believe
I
that.
said some.
But for me, we are conflating because the fact that people don't understand what's happening is the fact it's still making me realize that people are still ignorant to the difference between your identity and your sexual identity. And they could be two separate things. They can go along with each other. They could be stacked on top of each other, but they're two separate things. How I identify in terms of my gender has nothing to do with how I identify with my sexuality. They're two different things. So because of transgender, so let's say a trans man, I identify as a trans. That doesn't mean that I don't still like men. And it doesn't automatically mean I only like women.
True.
Like
This
it's
is very
very
true.
complicated, but we're confused because people have different identities in terms of their gender and their sexuality and it's two separate things. Who I'm attracted to, and I think within the gay male community, that's a problem because once someone thinks you're this, that's all they will mentally allow you to be. And it cuts you off from being able to try different things or do because people don't see you that way. So they couldn't imagine you liking men or women still. And that we have to get better with that. And for me, I'm speaking over myself because it was hard for me to understand. I remember the first time I can't remember the drag queen, but I saw her kissing someone who identified as a lesbian. And I was mind blown. Like, what is happening? What is going? What was her name? Sandy. It was Sandy. And I remember seeing her kissing on a lesbian. Huh?
Oh, Sandy. I miss Sandy.
You said what?
I miss Sandy.
Yes. So I remember standing outside seeing them two kiss, and I was like, wait, what is going on? Like what? But their sexual identity had nothing to do with their sexual orientation or their sexual identity. Like,
but see, this is what I'm
saying.
But now, for us, we understand that, but to the straight world, they don't understand that, and I think that's where we as the gay community
many of them have licked the twat.
But
many of them consider themselves straight, and they've done something
you're missing what I'm saying. You're missing what I'm saying. What I'm saying is, it's confusing to the straight community when you have someone that is now used to be a man that identifies as a woman, and you see them, they don't understand that like we do. They are straight. They don't
How is it
understand that.
confusing to
So when
many of
you
them
have
who are out there is licking pussies, and you don't
but you're talking about two
understand how
different
someone
things. That's
else could
lesbians.
look
That's
like
still the
this
gay
and do
community.
this?
But you're talking about a man
But
that changed
I
to be a
understand you
woman.
defending their ignorance. I understand you the ignorance, but in them
Yeah,
being
of course,
ignorant,
because
that
they
can
don't
only
know.
last for
And,
so long. They're
huh?
choosing not to know. It's not that they just that button in them is just turned off. It's a choice. We are in 2023. Too many movies, porns, documentaries, bloggers, podcasters that are telling you and explaining to you. That's like saying I'm 50 and I still can't read. It's a choice at that point.
No,
You have
that's
too
not
many
true.
outlets to make a
Now
choice.
that's not true, because you have people that just simply have learning disabilities. It's a mental thing, so we shouldn't say things like that. Because I have a family member who has a
Well, that's
disability. No, no,
but
no. Wait,
called an
because
exception. That's called an exception. There are people who are 40, 50, 60, 70 years old who still have not learned how to read. At that point, it's a choice, and we have to identify ignorance a choice.
okay, so you're talking
A
about, okay.
child who is
Thank you for breaking that
ignorant is
down.
one thing, but an adult who is ignorant and able-bodied. Now, if you're an exception to the rule where you have a learning disability that makes it difficult, it doesn't mean that you still keep. It just means that it's difficult. It's going to take you a little longer, or it's going to be a little bit challenging. We have to stop defending people's ignorance into adulthood, because that's why people are allowed to say whatever they want to say and just toss it off as, well, I didn't know, or you chose not to
True,
know.
facts,
That's
facts,
a lot knows the truth.
facts, facts. Okay.
I get heated about stuff like that because it's to a point of being dangerous. It gets, because people's life can be on the line. Both just hilarious and that transgender person life can be on the line. It gets life threatening when you lean of ignorance. Jess Hilarious knows exactly what she's saying. On the Breakfast Club, she spoke about being mistaken as a transgender. That's how T.S. Madison got into the argument with her. She talked about being mistaken as a transgender. She jokingly said on another interview how she would have went through with it had the money been right. And I lean her. If he'd have offered her a couple more zeros, I think she would have put that strap on and percolated that man.
Oh wow. But you see,
So
I
we
don't know.
can't laugh
We
and
talked
joke on one
earlier.
side of it, but then get serious and unsafe. Because there are, and my problem with this cable is we have ignorant men still in this world who see somebody walking down the street and I don't understand you, or tingle when I see you, so now I have to kill you, hurt you. So when you hear people who have influence saying things like this that is ignorant, it equates to the amount of senseless deaths, suicides, and what's the word? Assaults that we constantly keep reading about, or we don't ever hear about, and these people are just listed as Jane Doe somewhere because their body was never or found. So
Mm.
that's that's why people like Just Hilarious have to be stopped and have to be corrected. Because had she listened to the whole video, she may have still, but she would have understood where this person was coming from, or at least attempted to. But that's just my opinion.
No, I mean, you made a lot of valid points and a lot of things to think about. One on my part is that I did not
Not a lot of
even
valid
know there
points.
was more of a video of the other girl. We discussed this earlier. I was like, oh Lord, and yeah, so
Mm-hmm.
it's going to be a battle between the females and the trans community. It's always going to be a battle because females going to see themselves as the number ones, and transgender is going to always want to be acknowledged and respected as they should as a female. And I don't think that no one should.
Mm-hmm.
It's always going to be a battle. It's and we will want it to, in a
Yeah.
perfect world, we will want it to stop, but this ain't a perfect world. USA definitely ain't perfect. There's so much hate and judgment towards our community to where it's just it's sickening. Just like the dude who just got murdered, and the girls now put out a $100,000 reward for anyone with information to catch the killers. Did you hear about that? Tyler Perry's and Tyler Perry's publicist, um a friend of hers
Mm-mm.
was murdered. He was 23 years old because he was gay. He was strangled, and they threw him in the water after they strangled him. So that's an ongoing thing right now, and
Oh,
so it's just
it was it. No, yeah, okay.
hmm
I was confusing that with the former chef of the Obamas. But yeah,
now his
okay.
was an accident. Apparently, that was a boating. It was an accident. So his wasn't a murder. For what I read,
Yeah.
I don't know if it changed, but his was supposed to be a deemed an accident.
No, I was confusing the two stories. That's
Oh,
all.
the two stories. Oh, okay. No, not him, but
I
it's
was confusing the
Tyler
two,
Perry's
but
publicist, um,
yeah.
whose friend was murdered, strangled, and because he was gay. And it's
Mm.
so sad that we're still experiencing that in 2023. But this is the reality of that people do not accept us, and and the transgender world is right now on the forefront because they want the respect, and they deserve the respect. I will never say they don't. They do, because they are now women, and for the women to change to men, they are now men. And what they do sexually shouldn't even be involved in it, because that's no one's business. But they are now identifying as this, and they should be respected. Um, you can never
But
change
not
ignorance.
even simply because you're identifying as something. You should give respect regardless. There are tons of people who do things that I don't agree with. I work with them and friends with who they are, and I've just always been a person where you wanna jump tables. Hey, go jump a table. You be the best table jumper you could be, and that's just me. If you like this, I love it for you. How I've conducted my life. I try not to ever judge people or be contradictory in that way where I'm saying this and I want this type of love and appreciation, but I'm not. I've never been that person, and it is just is when you understand how many people are senselessly killed or
Mhm.
assaulted or just humiliated. You know, I've watched several times people get laughed at or joked out in public, and it's just ridiculous because they be adults. I understand when children do this type of stuff. I expect that level of ignorance from a child, but from an adult, there's no excuse for it. For Jess
Mhm.
Hilarious, with the fan base she has, for her to get up and say the things that she said, she wanted the because I
Oh,
hear
she
her in
was totally
other
ignorant.
interviews saying, I'm never going to apologize. And that none of that was comedy. None of that was comedy.
No, she was totally ignorant in a lot of words she said. And she
Hmm.
was totally ignorant. That's all I can say. A lot of words that she said I did not agree with. On the particular clip that she was trying to base her argument on, I understood
Hmm.
where she was trying to go with it based on that clip, but the way that she went about it, I would never say that I applaud that at all, because she was ignorant. She was ignorant as fuck. Um,
Right.
but that's what you expect from that those that community, that side. They don't respect the LGBTQ community. They don't respect gays at all. And if you have a friend or not, then there's a way that you go about saying things. So that's what makes me feel like, from that clip, I was like, maybe she is a bit of a homophobe. Just because you have friends doesn't mean you really love them. I have a lot of female friends, back in the day, and they use bottoming as shaming. They will call everyone, oh, you bottom, and you be like, why are you using this as a weapon to shame someone? Like, it's wrong to be a
Because
bottom. Like,
it's a insecurity. I always think that there's an insecurity there, or fear, or some type of toxic competition that's happening. I just finished talking to a mutual friend of ours. Now I was making a statement about a lot of women who I've had to distance myself from. And the problem is, you can't be my friend and say ignorant homophobic shit out your mouth at the same time.
absolutely.
I'm not comfortable with being misgendered. I'm not comfortable with when you get a new man, you're not comfortable with your man being around your gay male friends. I'm not comfortable with you saying slurs out your mouth. And yet you want me to do your lashes and make sure your wig is beat and make sure your hair is beat and make sure you got the best out. You can't be my friend and be homophobic at the same time. Long story short, like you can't hate me and love me at the same time. Oh, but I'm not talking about you. Well, you're making blanket statements. So that means I'm included in that. Like, you
Exactly.
can't accept, make expectations or make, these types of comments and exempt your best friend from it
Which
because you're
leaves it
being just
open to
disrespectful
wonder.
to that friend.
Which leaves it open to wonder: are you saying these things about me behind my back? You know,
Exactly.
you leave
Exactly.
that window, you leave that open for me to wonder, like, are you talking about me when I'm not around? You know, you leave that open
Hmm.
because you're so easily able to come out your mouth and be disrespectful towards the community. They want to turn up like, oh, but I'm not talking about you.
Yeah.
No, bitch, you are. I'm included in that community. That's that same community you said they shouldn't have these rights and they shouldn't do this. But you understand I'm a part of that community. So you are disrespecting me. You
Right.
don't love me.
Right.
You know, that's just a fact. You just love what I could do for
It's
you.
it's
That's
it
just
to me.
the Kim Burrells for me.
It's a wild feeling, and I understand where a lot of that hate and disrespect may come from, because if you dating someone for years and you come to find out they gay, or whatever the scenario was,
It's
or
a lot of hurt.
even if you were just watching something or some dude told you that this transgender tricked him, shit, I call bullshit on it all, because at some point your ignorance is pointed, and it's pointed towards people who you claim to love or like or appreciate. It takes me back to the Kaya T.S. Madison thing. Once they made the split and Kaya was coming hard with very homophobic rhetoric, not to say that T.S. Madison's mouth was innocent, but you were making specific comments that you probably all about this person. And then on her life, she would have these gay men that were kind of co-signing what she was saying. So that further fueled the fire that gay men don't like transgender, because you're on commenting and making comments or laughing and joking alongside the homophobic comments that Kaya was making towards C.S. Madison and other gay men that were associated with C.S. Madison. It's just to me crazy. And before with Just Hilarious. So now we wasn't on stage, we wasn't on a show being funny. You were on your live being serious. So all the times that you claim it was just a joke, it wasn't. And I don't understand. And you made a comment before, people are seeking respect, or that's what I got from what you said. I don't. Your respect does not fuel my life. It does not feed me. It does not put clothes. Your respect don't do any of those things. Often I don't even know you're breathing, so I don't need your respect. Just just respect people. Like, just give it to people. Cause I don't know.
Honestly, we will never know because we will never understand what goes on in one's minds in this world. And it's very unfortunate where we are today as a people. As a people, that includes everyone. As a people, it's very sad where we are, where we're not accepting people who they are. Mind your business, first of all. Like, what business is it of
Right.
yours what I'm doing in my life? Just respect me by leaving me alone, not talking about me. Just live your life. Worry about what's going on in your life. But that's not the world we live in today. But it's so much we could touch on this topic, because this is a very big topic, and you have definitely opened my mind to a lot of things. Because before we had this conversation,
Right.
we talked, and so I'm glad for this conversation, because I'm definitely have a different outlook on how I felt about just
But
hilarious.
what would you think? I mean, it's hard to say a solution because too many people who have various toxic perspectives and arrogance. But how do you think we can at least initiate like an olive branch towards Black women? Because we can't even group all like straight people together, but in terms of Black women, because it's not just straight Black women. It be gay Black women who think the same way. So at least initiate the
A lot of these Black women,
olive
it's nothing
branch.
that we can do as a community for the Black woman. The Black woman has to help themselves, and what they need to do is, and I'm not saying to be smart, is to have a seat on a chair and talk to someone, because a lot of these people are venting out against the gay community because they've been hurt by a man, or their man seemed to be DL. It's coming from a place of hurt, where they are putting it on us instead of the person who hurt them. And because you know how that one man hurt her and he turned gay and slept with another man, now they hate the whole gay community. No, you hate that man. So what they
Mhm.
need to do is have a seat at someone's chair and talk to this therapist and get some help. That's all I can say, because there's nothing I can do to help the Black women. It's nothing.
Mm.
It's nothing I can do to help them, because I can talk to you till you blue in the till I'm blue in the face, and on tomorrow, all that talking I did is gonna fly out the window, because you're gonna see another gay man walk with a gay male, and you're gonna think about that man who left you for a gay male, and now you're gonna be throwing A's at these two because you don't like them because of that man. It's nothing that we're gonna be able to do. Their minds are made up. Like Just Hilarious, her mind is made up. She needs a therapist. Only someone that she can talk to can help her sort out why she has so much hate and disdain towards a community that did nothing to her. And that's with anyone. It's nothing that we can do.
It does feel like it's coming from. It feels like it's coming from a place of experience. Like you've experienced something that created this, because somebody talking that you don't even know makes these comments, and it affects you in this way. It tells you that it's something more there. There's something, that you're not talking about that's there, because this one comment that keeps being referred to in this argument is the fact that on a few different platforms she's talked about being uh, mistaken as transgender. And there have been stories that have come out where women have been assaulted, killed because men thought that they were transgender. Now,
Well,
I don't think it's enough
that
for us to
may
be.
you
Mhm,
know, I never thought
that
about
may be
that,
it.
and
Hmm.
and that could be an issue, because you do have these, and
Hmm.
see, that's where we need to work on our part. That's why I don't like when transgender out DL guys. You knew what you was getting into when you got into this situation. You knew this man was DL. He explained to you, and he told you what his rules are, and then a year later, because you want to hold hands walking down the street, and he's still saying no, now you're outing him. See, that's where I have issues with the trans community, because y'all will out
Well,
someone
let's
because
not.
they feel.
But see, even when we are, even when we are expressing our frustration, we have to not make blanket statements, because it's not the whole of transgender people. This is something that is happening in relationships. Period.
Right, right.
Men are getting with people and fucking them over and stringing them along only for them to catch feelings and be frustrated. If you're sleeping in my bed every night, if I'm giving you money, if I'm feeding you, if I'm supporting you, and you don't reciprocate that, anybody would be frustrated. Now, what you do because you're frustrated makes a difference, but we have to be very careful not to make blanket statements because
But
it's
that
happening
goes
against us, and now they're doing it to other people.
but now that goes to my thing about the lack of communication. We get into these situations without properly communicate with the person, and then we come in with these expectations that when they are not met, then we go into
Mm-hmm.
that stage of outrage, hurt, and pain, and what we do, we lash out. And I just want to be clear, when I say trans, I don't mean the entire, so I do need to find another way of saying it, because it's definitely
Mm-hmm.
not the entire trans community, and I definitely don't mean the entire, but it's the ones that is always, I hate that it be the ones that's always out there on the forefront, and it makes the whole community look bad. I hate that because just because this
In
one
what
person do it
way?
doesn't mean all of
In
them
what way?
operate like that, huh?
Because everybody's been hurt. Well, and not to harp on men, because women hurt people feelings too. But
Mm-hmm.
everyone has been hurt at least once. It's hurtful to pour out to someone and they take it and don't reciprocate it. And I'm not saying that's even the majority of people or all these situations, but we have to stop believing people who've been a part of something toxic in terms of, so yeah, this bitch put me out there like that because she was mad because I didn't want to be with her. Well, you were with that person. Let's start with truth. You were with the person. You
Mm-hmm.
not with that person the way that person wanted you to be with them, but you were with that person. If you came there every night at 12:30 p.m. and got your rocks off and you stayed and had breakfast that morning and snuck out the house before the sun came up in a relationship. Let's be honest. And
Mm-hmm.
you toyed with someone and you can't put your hands physically or mentally on someone and not expect for them to retaliate. Now, how they retaliate is up to that, and whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, it's still up to that individual. How you can't tell somebody how to respond to your piss poor behavior. And if and we keep telling these stories, but if we also created safe spaces for Black men to be comfortable whole self, whether they want to be with a cisgender woman or a transgender woman or a gay man or a bisexual, binary, whatever, if we made more safe spaces for these people to be in, we wouldn't have to worry about as many of our living in the closet or living DL or living in these confines of these secret backdoor relationships, and then people having to feel like they have to put people out there like that. Like we have to do better. There's no other explanation for it. We have to do better.
We
and
do.
and and just hilarious getting on her platform, being angry at something she started. You put this type of rhetoric out there about yourself. So you angry for what reason?
She angry at herself. At least she should be.
It sounds that way
She
because none
should
of it
be
is
angry
funny.
at
It,
herself.
it doesn't make me laugh or chuckle.
Now I
Right,
will say I'm curious
right.
to wonder what her gay friends are saying about it. That's who I would love to hear
They're
from, her
probably
gay
in many
friends.
cases defending her, but they're probably defending her because it's easy to back a transgender in a corner than it is to check your friend for.
Mm.
Because most people who are making comments on this story did not watch that individual's whole life to even understand. One, you don't agree with binary people, intersexual people, transgender people, gay people for that matter. You don't agree with it. Say that. If you start the conversation like, look, I'm not feeling this, but I'm really upset at this XYZ. Giving that type of grace to yourself, to be
Hmm.
honest. You have a problem. It just so happened you have friends that are lesbian and gay, and maybe past lovers. Who's talking in Baltimore?
Mm. Well, shoot. Well, on that note, I don't know how we're going to end this one because this was a very deep, enlightening conversation. Definitely could be a continuation. See how I did that there? Rhymed. Hey.
Maybe we can bring Just Hilarious on. Maybe if she become and
Oh,
tell
I
us her
would love
side
to
of
have
the
Just
story.
Hilarious on. Maybe we can have the trans. I want to know her name, the transgender who made the video, and I'm gonna go back and watch the whole video because first of all, I didn't even know it was alive.
Mm-hmm.
It popped up on my timeline on
Yeah, watch
Twitter,
the.
and I
I
was
mean,
like, "What's this?"
understandable. That's why these sound bites are dangerous. And
Very
I
dangerous.
often doing all these podcasts. Often I don't really like making clips because a clip can be taken out of context just that quick. So
Absolutely.
watch the watch the whole thing and just understand what was being said and how it was taken wrong. Now the individual who made the statement, as you said, how they approached the topic was a little off because it did create a rift or a reason for cisgendered black women to be upset. It created that. But and I was talking to someone else about this. Often the problem is a lot of the information is being put out there by the white LGBTQ community. A lot of that
Oh, that's
fight and
another topic.
pull is coming from white people and not necessarily from us.
That's a
So,
conversation I had a long time ago, and I wish we harped on. I wish we touched on that during this episode of the show. But I definitely want to get back to that because not just with the transgender community, but that's just with the LGBTQ black community and just the black
mm-hmm.
community as a whole. And it's crazy
Yeah.
how we allow them to put these things out there to get us fighting with one another, and we don't see it. It's just crazy. But that's a whole nother monster.
Yeah.
That's a whole
Yeah.
nother monster.
I mean, they see gay and we see straight, and that becomes a blanket statement, and we don't understand the other factors that go into marketing this type of ignorance or hate out there, and we at the helm of doing it, and then we look like fools fighting amongst our own self culturally. So,
Uh huh.
so
Well, on
and
that
just
note,
what would you if you had to say anything hilarious right now? What would you say to
to just hilarious.
her? Hmm.
Seek.
Or to the transgender.
Oh God, to just hilarious, I would say, honey, take a chill pill. Talk to someone, seek some help. Try to figure out why you have all this built up frustration, anger towards the community, a whole community where we did
Mhm.
nothing to you. We just trying to live our lives. To the transgender, I can't really say nothing to her because I didn't see her whole video, and I'm getting a different perspective on it, where it may not have been as bad as it sounded. Like you said, that one sound bite made it more worse than what it probably really was. So I really don't have nothing to say to her. I would guess I would say just pick and choose our words a little bit more better. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe some
Mhm.
of the words you use, like gatekeeping and stuff like that. When you say words like that, those are trigger words. And if I noticed about Jess, she stayed on that gatekeeping word. We need to learn trigger words. That's with both sides. We need to learn how to speak and how to talk where we won't be triggering people's emotions, because once that trigger word is heard, everything else you're saying is blacked out. That's the only word they're going to concentrate on, and that's what they're going to retaliate off. And as you're talking, they already thinking about what they're going to say, so they're not even listening no more. So we just need to learn what the trigger words
Mhm.
are and how not to use them when we're trying to get our point across. Because listening to you, my friend, I totally understand better what she was trying to say, and you know, as far as you know, the gatekeeping, the line that she was trying to say, which she should have used a better word, but I better understand where she was coming from. So I would just say this for her, just try to figure out what words not to use and don't use trigger words. That's all I can say because I haven't heard the whole interview.
Yeah.
You know.
But
what I want to say
but
is,
that's what happened when we're in an argument. You not to even say that other person was in an argument. For just hilarious is what she heard was another reason for a black woman to be disrespected because she
exactly.
started out with she has abandonment issues. She has some trauma in her life that's dealing with because the first thing she said was who's going
Who's
to
going to
protect
protect us?
so that tells me you feel unprotected in this moment or just in general. So I get it. I definitely the conversation needs to be had, but it needs to be out. Like you need to talk live with someone. You really need to have that conversation. And I don't I don't understand it because initially I thought the argument was between T.S. Madison and Just Hilarious. I didn't get why T.S. Madison was even in it because I thought now I'm thinking that it was two of them. Now it was a whole other person having a conversation, and the other young lady, what's her name?
Tasha K.
Tasha something. They
Tasha
jumped
K.
into the conversation. So
Uh-huh.
now it was used as a I don't know. I just have issues with anybody because I know now anybody can go on their social media and make a comment and it go viral if enough people with it, or even if enough people disagree with it. But we have to become more responsible in terms of what we actually post. I give thanks to the backspace button every day because there are plenty of times I want to go off and I want to say things, but I just backspace it. And because it's not everything don't have to be said because you think it.
Absolutely.
Like we could have went a whole lifetime without hearing Just Hilarious respond to this. We could have because I think it just made the problem worse. But people just need to respond. They got to respond. They got to contend. They got to create
They
controversy.
gotta be heard.
Maybe she go in her next special or something. I don't know.
Listen, I don't know because when I listen, I don't respond to everything. The backspace is definitely my angel on my shoulder because
It
the
is.
many posts that I have seen and I started typing, I was like, why am I typing this? Who cares? And I would delete it because it it just was no point. And I was like, you have to pick and choose. And you also have to be mindful and smart and more strategic in the things you say online because it can come back to bite you in the ass like it is just hilarious. And
Mm,
that's just facts. You know, everything is not meant for you to fight. It's not your battle. And, you
yeah.
know, you just have to pick and choose wisely. In saying that, we're going to close out, but I want to close out on a note that, you know, I love my community, the transgender community. I just want y'all to be safe out here. Please govern yourselves accordingly. You know, love yourself. Don't forget what these people think about you. You are who you are, and that's all that matters, what you know deep down in your heart. We love you on here. We just want you to be safe on these streets
I'm
because
hearing everything you're saying, but you're saying this with this mask on, and I'm trying hard to I'm trying hard to take you seriously. But you
should
got
I
this
take it off?
mask
Or it is
on.
called mask on
Nah,
and
you can
mask
keep it
off.
on. Keep your mask on.
Keep it on.
Oh,
Oh.
somebody. So I have another live going on, and someone says woof woof.
Very easy to
Mr.
put back
Pat
on.
says woof woof to you.
But
Very
that's my
easy.
message to the community because listen, I love my friends who are trans. Y'all are real women. Y'all are the MVPs. Y'all are beautiful. And that's all I can say. Let the haters hate, baby. They only hate because you look better. Ha! So let me start. That's the starting mess. Starting mess. But
I can't with them.
yeah, listen, we love y'all on Mask Off. If you would love to be a part of this broadcast, please just hit us up on the DM. We will get you on if you want to have a discussion. We're even doing a show called The Number that's listed. and you can come on live and give your input on any topic that we have coming up. We're trying, hopefully we have some guests to come on and be more open with their sex life and what they enjoy and stuff like that. We look forward to all this. This is a free space, no judgment free, and it's for us people. And that's all I can say. Nate, you have anything to say?
Just better, people. Just do better.
Do better.
Just do better.
Do better.
Better.
That if you can't love yourself, how do you expect someone to love you?
Okay, RuPaul.
Come on. Can I get an amen? And we out.